back into my code and let me have the designing or the web page for my table. So I'll go into the Sublime. I'll create a new file over here, and you can see I have included this table tag, and simply you have to start with your TR tag. So basically you are standing at this position right now, and I'll just select the color over here. So I'm right now standing at this position. I have to go to the next row, that is nothing but new lines. So define a new line can be done using your TR tag. So simply what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this TR tag over here, and TR tag do have the closing tag. So TR tag is a container tag, right? So I'll simply save the file. Now I'll just move back into my paint, and just explain you how your code execute. So keep in mind your HTML document, whatever you have written, that will be executed always and line by line. So according to your HTML document execution, your HTML page will execute line by line, and so that you have to move as line by line. So basically I am right now standing over here. Now I want to move to the next line. For that purpose I have to define a new row, and yes, I have defined it also. Now now my cursor is going to be something like from this place. I have made with some table heading, that is nothing but a table heading. So I'll just add over here some table heading, and first table heading is nothing but I made with the ID, right? So this is my first table heading. The moment I came to know about I am again meeting with some next table heading, I have to include again new th over here, and I have to save subject name and close the th. So let's save the file. Now I'm standing at this position. I have to move to the next column, I can say, and you can see I'm getting this marks th again. So I'm simply going to include this th, and I'm going to say marks, and let's save this th. Now what we have made with, we have started with the first row, and we have moved in the line by line execution. We have moved this id, we have moved through the subject, marks, and now we are standing at this position. Now let me save the file and let me execute the same on the browser. Let me check whether whatever I have written is executing in the manner that I have explained, I wanted it. Yes, you can see on the browser we are getting the expected output, right? So ID, subject, name, and marks. So let me show you one more time again that we are standing at this position. We wanted to start with a new row. To start with a new row, I have to first move to the new row first, right? To move to the new row, you have to use your tr tag. So your tr tag is going to start over here, and at the end somewhere your row is going to end. So you have to close this tr tag over here, right? So after this closing of tr tag, so after the first row is being ended, you have to move to the next row. So basically again I have to move to the next row, that is nothing but a new row. To define a new row, we know we have to use this tr tag. So what I'm going to do inside my code is I'm going to define a new row after the first row is being ended. So I'm going to define over here new row. In that new row, you can see I can see the data as 1, data as maths, and the data is 80. So I'm going to define this TD over here. TD data is 1. Close this TD. Again, I can see some data over here, and that is nothing but maths. Close this TD, and I'm going to add one more TD over here that is containing some marks. So 80 over here, and let's close this TD. Now I hope you are okay with the syntax. You can see I'm moving in the horizontal direction only. You can see 1 maths and 80 we are reached till this point. Now we are standing at this position. Now again we have to move to the next line. So to move to the next line, what we have to do is simply we have to use this TR again, opening of TR and closing of TR. So I'm going to add this TR over here, and this TR I can see again the new lines are being added. That new lines is nothing but id2 and the science marks. So I'm going to add over here td. I'm going to say id2, and I can see one more subject, that is nothing but science, and then close this td, and I'll add this td with the marks something called as 100. Save the file and close the tr again, right? So we are now standing at this position. We can say we are again now at this position. We have crossed 2, we have crossed science as well, we have crossed 100. Now we are standing over here. Now we have to add again a new row. We have to move to the new row. To add the new row into the html tables, we have got the tr tag. So I'm going to define one more tr over here. So inside the code, I'm going to add tr tag over here. Close this tr. Now you can see at the very first we are not having any data over here, right? So I'm going to keep one table data as blank so that it will leave some space for me. So I'm going to move into the tr, I'm going to add td over here, save the file, and next we can see some total is represented over here, total, and total is 120 180, right? So I'm going to get through these values over here, and now I'm standing at this position. Let me include the data. So I'll just go back into the code and I'm going to add this td, and I'm going to say let's take total, close this td, again td, and I'm going to say 180 is my total, right? Now I'll just save the file and let me refresh the page once again. Let me have a look whether I'm getting expected output or not, and you can see we are getting the expected output, right? So you can see over here the white space is being kept and the white total is being displayed and the total is 180, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply add some borders over here. To add the borders, I'm going to use some CSS. Now, as of now, we haven't learned any CSS, so please don't worry about the syntax. We'll definitely see when we will be in the CSS session. To add the CSS, I'm going to simply add the style tag. You can see text hyphen CSS. So basically in this tag, I'm going to write some CSS. I'm going to have this border. So I'm going to say to the table and to my th and td, I want to apply a border. So how to apply a border, that is nothing but one px solid, and which is of blue color. Just save the file. So don't worry about the syntaxes, I'll just explain you syntax once again. So table tag, if I wanted to apply some css, that if whatever I'm going to specify over here, I want to apply that css to the table as well as to the th as well as to the td. Now let's save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see we are getting our expected output, right? So we are basically able to design a table the way we wanted to design, in the way, right? So basically what I did over here is we have defined this tr tag over here. So we started with the table tag first. We define the tr to start the new row. So in the new row, I can see some table headings over there. So headings are represented in some bold format, right? So to add the headings, I have added this th tag. So you can see, so first th is nothing but id, second th is nothing but subject name, and third th is nothing but year marks. So after that, somewhere the row is going to end and you have to create again a new row. After first tr close, you have to start with again a new tr. So I have defined over here tr. In that tr, I can see that is nothing but a table data is present over there. So simply I have assigned over here td, and in that td I have said one next td maths, next td 80. So let's go back into the code first and let's have a look again. So what I did is I have defined this table tag over here. I have defined the new first row. In that first row, I have found some table data, and that table data is having three columns. So I have defined first th id, second th subject name, and third th marks. After these marks, I am going to end my row somewhere. So definitely here I am ending my row. So I have to start with new row again. So simply I have defined new tr over here. New tr, in that again I can see the id is 1, the subject is maths, and the marks are 80. For the same, I can see in the next row I can see 2 science 100, and the next row I can see the row for the total. The total is 180 and the first space is blank. So I'll just save the file and head back to the browser. I can show you the output is expected, right? This is what we were expecting. Now let me have one more table example over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more table. So I'm going to say table tag over here and closing of this table. In that table, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add first row, and in that first row, I'm going to define, let's take name over here. So let's take name over here, and I'm going to add in that row. So basically name is my heading. I'm going to say table heading and name. I'm going to close this table heading. So in that first row, I can see some table data as well. So I can see some TQPP as table data. Save the file and let me show you the output of the same. Head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see I'm getting some table inside the horizontal format. So in the first example, we created the table in the vertical format, columns being added, table headings on the horizontal row. Now what we are going to do is table headings on the left hand side and in the vertical manner. So name I'm going to say TQPP. Simply I'm going to say a new row over here. So I'll add over here new row. Let me close the row again. And I'm going to add over here a TH, and TH is nothing but I'm going to say phone number. So I'm going to say phone number. So I'm going to close this th. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this table data, and in that table data I'm going to specify 98, or instead I'm going to specify let's take 7020320 and 255. So I'm going to close this td. Let's save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see we are getting this expected output. So basically now our headings are on the left hand side and your data is on the right hand side, right? So you can you can apply some logic to get your expected output. You can have headings on the right hand side. You can have headings on the top. You can make this total as bold. So to add the bold effect, you can simply replace this TD with TH and done. Save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see total is in the bold now, right? Now, let me have one more thing is if I scroll over here and you see the empty space is not looking good and it is irritating to my eyes. Now, what I want is I want to merge these two cells. How I can merge these two cells is what if I specify this total will occupy two columns space. As of now, we have only specified this total, whatever text I have added over here, will occupy the one column space only, and I want now total to be occupying the two column spaces, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply add over here. I want to have the total should reserve two column spaces, right? So simply I'm going to say call span attribute. So whenever you want to have that any particular content or any particular data should occupy two column spaces or row spaces. We haven't seen for the row spaces for now, but you want to have two column spaces should be occupied. In that case, the person who is occupying it. So total is the one who is occupying the space. In the opening tag of that total, you have to specify call span of 2. So let's save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. And you can see now total is occupying the column space of 2, the subject name and the marks as well. So what we made a mistake over here is we don't wanted to occupy it as a subject name and marks. We wanted to occupy the same space of ID and subject name. So what I'm going to do is simply I'm going to remove this because I don't need it right now. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see now total is occupying the two column spaces, right? I hope you all are clear with this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the subject science 1 and science 2. So let me go and make some changes into my code. Now I'm going to add over here science 1 and I'm going to copy the same row again. Control C. I'm going to paste it over here. Control V. Now science 1 and science 2 over here, and I'm going to say over here let's take 50 and I'm going to change the 100 to 50 and save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see I'm able to get science 1 and science 2 is being added. Now what I want is this 2 that ID is repeating, that I don't want to repeat the ID. I instead what if I am able to merge this cell, right? What if I want to merge the two rows? So in that case, what I'm going to do is the way we have used call span. Now we want to merge two rows over here. So we have got row span over here. So we are going to specify row span to the one who have occupied the space. So ID 2 is going to occupy the space. So simply I'm going to remove this ID because I don't need the repetition of ID. Save the file, head back to the browser. Now you are going to get some weird, right? So what I want is I want this 2 ID should occupy the two row spaces. So simply I'm going to say this ID 2 should occupy two row spaces, row span, and how many row spaces I want to occupy, that is nothing but 2. Just simply save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see we are getting the expected output, right? I hope you are clear with this row span and call span. Let me show you one more example for the same. Let me add phone number, that is nothing but no one in the world is having or dealing with the single sim, right? So let me add one more phone number to this contact details of phone number column, phone number row. And for that purpose, what I have to do is I have to add one more tr first. Control C and Control V over here, and just save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see second row is being added. Now what is the task is to merge these two rows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I don't want this repeated phone number now. I want to have this phone number to occupy two row spaces. So row span is equals to 2. Just save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page. Now you can see phone number is having 7020320255, and second phone number is 7020320255. Now it is working fine for us, that is row span and call span, right? Now I hope you are clear with the example. And if you want to have some more, so what I'm going to do is simply I'm going to add phone number, third phone number. So simply what I'm going to say is I want to add one more row over here, and that is nothing but let's take, I'm going to have this phone number and let's save it. So now you have to specify, let's say, and refresh the page once again. Now you can see the third row is being added, but you have to say this phone number should occupy now three row spaces. So let's go back to the code and write over here, replace this 2 with 3, save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and now you are able to see the expected output, right? I hope you all guys are clear with the syntax and the concept, the how you have to use this heading tags, how to use this table data tag, tr tag, and the next thing nothing but row span and call span, right? So what I'm going to do is, what if I want to add some captions, right? I want to add some captions, or you can say titles to my table. So simply I'm going to add over here, just below table tag, I'm going to say caption. I'm going to say personal personal information. So I'm going to call it the title as in personal information. Just save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see personal information title is being added to my table, right? I hope you're clear with this. Now let me show you something called as an what if I want to have border collapse, right? So basically what is happening over here is we can see the output, right? Supposed to doubled border is being displayed, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some, let's take a single line syntax, or how I can get this double instead a solid thick line. To have that, what I'm going to do is I'm again going to add some css over here, and that css I'm going to say table, I want to have border hyphen spacing, and that spacing I'm going to specify as 0 px. So I don't want the space between these two borders. We just refresh the page and you can see we are getting the expected one, right? Now we will be learning into the depth how to get these properties, and what are other properties that you can work with. So when we are dealing with the css, definitely, now is it okay, right, to have the table tag, how to create a table tag, how to create your border to be collapsed, and it should be a thick border, a single thick border, how to add the row span and call span to your table, and that's it. Let me have the next thing, that is nothing but your forms. I'll just move into the pdf. Now let me start with the forms. So very first thing is, what are forms? Forms are nothing but when you want to get some data from the users. In that case you have to design some forms, right? So let me show you some examples, or what type of inputs we are going to take it from users. So we are going to provide text boxes. So what is the use of this text box is to take some data from the user, right? So you have to provide some text boxes when you want to ask user to select any one option that you have provided. Just like suppose I'm going to say you have to select an option, whether you want to learn Java, whether you want to learn advanced, or whether you want to learn Angular. So you can select only one option at a time, and that can be happen using this radio button. For that purpose, we can use this radio button and the check boxes. When you want to collect and data from the user, that the hobbies, you can say that suitable timings for the users for the online session, or you can say when you want to take multiple inputs from the user, in that case you can go with the check boxes, right? Next thing is submit button. Whatever data you have written, that has to be submitted somewhere, uh, definitely. So to submit the data we should have the submit button, right? Now next thing is reset button. So yes, sometimes we feel that we have filled the form and now we don't want to fill the form, or again, what if I my friend wants to fill the form in between, so I have to remove the content that whatever I have filled. So simply I can use this reset button for the same. And the next thing is drop down list and etc. So you can add the drop down list. So drop down list is nothing but, suppose you want to give some options, you want to restrict a user to add his own options or add his own values. In that case, you can give the drop down list. Suppose you want to ask him for the qualification. In that qualification, you wanted to specify your own qualification. Let's take, I want to recruit a person who is completed BE or MCA or BCA. When you want that user should select only one, the drop down list that will be decided from the developer side, right? So we will be having a look at drop down list as well. Now in this we will be having a look at form attribute, and we have seen the HTML5P features, new form HTML attributes have added. Now let's have a look on those one by one. Let me go back into my code and let me create a new file. Save the file first, and I'm going to say form.html. Right, so basically I'm going to design a form over here. To design a form, very first I have to include this form tag, and now here I go. So whatever form you want to design, that you will be designing inside this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say label over here. In that label I'm going to say enter your name. So I'm going to say enter your enter your name. Now let's add some text box over here. So whenever you want to have input from the user, or you want to take the input from the user, in that case you have to use this input tag over here. And input is the in and tag, so you have to close at the end. Even if you don't close, don't worry, you won't get an error, right? So you have to say input type is equals to text, because you wanted to have some characters. So in that case you have to specify type is equals to text. Now next attribute you have got is name. So name you have to specify. Suppose I'm going to say you name, you can specify any name. This will be referred by the browsers when the data has to be submitted. In that case, this name is going to help us, right? Definitely I'll show you example for the same how it is going to help us. Now I hope you are clear with the first how to take input from the user. The very first is nothing but text box. So I'm going to save the file over here, and I'm going to say open in browser itself, and you can see we are getting some enter your name, and I'm going to say over here, let's take Vivek. So you can add some name over here, right? So this is the way how you can take input from the user. Now I'm going to add so no, the next thing, that is nothing but, what if I want to accept an email? So I'm going to say I want to accept an email. So I'm going to say I want to have enter your email, and I'm going to close this label as well, and I'm going to save the file and accept an email using input type is equals to, if I say email, and name you have to pass, because whatever data you are going to submit, that will be referred as this name. So I'm going to say you email. You can give any name whatever you want to give. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. Now you can see enter your name is being having some text box, enter your email is having some text box over here, right? So definitely both, in both the cases, even if you say input type is equals to text and input enter your email, that is nothing but input type is equals to email, in both the cases you are getting this text box. Yes, definitely there are some differences, we'll have a look at them, but before that let me have some more content. Now if I'm going to add over here b tag, so I'm going to add b add tag, because my form is in the single row only. I don't want to be displayed in the single row. So you can see my next line is being displayed, enter your name and enter your email. Now I hope you have understood that the alignment of the form is not good. As you can see, enter your name, wherever I'm going to end my label, the moment I'm going to end my label, my text box is being started. So suppose if I go over here and if I remove this, enter your email, save the file and head back to the browser, you can see wherever I have ending this label, the moment I'm going to make this text box. so the my form is not going to look such nice and such pretty. So in that case, what I can do is I can turn my form into some table format. So just now we have seen in the table we can see some data, even if the row, even if the data is ending over here, still I have some white spaces because other rows is having some data till that point, right? So basically what you can do is you can simply add the table tag into your form. So let me show you how to add table tag into your form. So I'm going to start the table tag over here. In the table tag, very first I have to define this first row over here. So I'm going to say tr, and this tr is going to end over here, so closing of this tr. Now label is nothing but my table heading, and let me close this heading as well. And input type is equals to text is nothing but my td, and let me close this td as well. So I'm going to have again a new tr over here, and in that tr I'm going to define this th table heading over here, and let me close this table heading as well. I'm going to have this table data input type is equals to email is nothing but my input data. I'm going to close this data, and let me close this tr as well. Now let's save the file and head back to the browser, and we can see some good look. But before that, let me close this table tag, save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see my form is now arranged in some systematic format. The line spaces, the margin is being added in between the two text boxes, right? Now let me add some heading to my what you can say a form. Over here I'm going to say a caption, and inside the caption I'm going to say a registration form. So I'm going to say registration form. Just save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see registration form caption is being added. The caption is being added in the center, right? So you don't have to align it, right? So if I am going to add this, I'm going to say control C and control V over here, but okay, I'll just remove it. I'll just go inside the body tag, and if I'm going to say over here H1, so as if you're thinking that what if I add it as a heading, so let me show you what is the difference it makes. So you can see caption will be added in the center, and you can see the heading tag is being added from the left hand side. So manually you have to align it, you have to say move to the center, and it should look like that. So suppose it's good to have the caption tag instead of heading, because caption is going to add the caption in the center, right? And it will be stuck toward to the your table tag. Now we have asked the user for enter your name and email. So what if I want to have that, suppose I'm going to specify over here Vivek, but I was expecting Vivek to enter his full name, right? So I wanted that Vivek should enter his full name. So in that case, what I can do is I can give some we can say an gray out message to a user by simply adding one attribute over here. So I'm going to say and one more attribute placeholder, and I'm going to say enter your full name. So I'm going to say enter your full name, and just save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see I'm getting some gray out message that is nothing but enter your full name. Now if I go over here and if I start typing, if I type over Vivek, and you can see the gray out shade or gray out text is now removed, right? So I'm able to edit the data as well. So simply what I'm going to do is having some next input type, that is nothing but let me ask the user for his gender, right? So let me ask him for the gender. So the same thing again, I'm going to add this tr tag, closing of tr. Let me have this heading, and that heading I'm going to ask him for, I'm going to say label, and in that label I'm going to say I wanted to ask you for your gender. So I'm going to say I want to ask you for gender, and your TD is going to be your again input type. So I'm going to say your input type is equals to, I'm going to say radio. I want to have I want to restrict a user for applying n number of options as a gender. So I'm going to say input type is equals to radio, and in that I'm going to give suppose this radio button is for female, right? So I'm going to say female, and I'm going to pass the name as well. So I'm going to pass this name as, let's take gender. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see I'm able to get this radio button as well, right? So gender is nothing but just like female. So let's copy and paste the same code for the male. So I'm going to say gender and over here male. Save the file and I'm going to pass the name as gender1. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. Now you can see male and female is being added, right? I don't want this much space to be added over here. Now I'm going to remove this td because I want this two radio buttons to be in the same table data or table column. So now you can see over here I can select this female because I am a female. Now my mind has been changed and I want to be a male now. Is it possible? So let me check the mailbox, mail radio button as well. Yes, it is possible. I can be a male, I can be a female, right? So in the real life scenario, it is not the case. Actually, you should restrict a user of by selecting this female and male at a time. To have the same, what I'm going to do is instead of gender one, simply add the same name to both the radio buttons and refresh the page. Now I am a male and I want to be a male now. I'm male. Now I want to be a female now. I'll just go over here and select female. Yes, it works fine, right? So now you are allowing to select only one radio button at a time, right? I hope you all guys are clear with this. Selecting either a male, either a female, right? Now let me have an input. Let's say I want to ask him for the hobbies. So I'm going to add one more tr over here. And in that tr, I'm going to define, let's take, I'm going to close this tr as well. And I'm going to ask him for this hobbies. So I'm going to say hobby. I'm going to close this label. Going to close this th as well. I'm going to say td, and in that td I'm going to specify input type is equals to I need to say check box because I want to have check boxes now so that user can submit it. So I'm going to say over here name, just say hobby. I'm going to say swimming. I'm going to say swim. Name is swim. So I'm going to pass over here is swimming, right? And the d tag over here again I'm going to say input. So instead of td I want it to be in the same table data, and I'm going to say input type is equals to, let's say, checkbox again, and I'm going to have this read. I'm going to say reading over here. Let me show you the output for the same. Let me close the td tag. Closing of td, save the file, head back to the browser, and if I refresh the page, and you can see swimming and reading option is being available to the user. So you can see we can select it. We can have multiple selects, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask user for his, let's take password. If you want to have password, so I'm going to say new tr again. In that new tr I'm going to define this th tag, and in that I'm going to say label tag, and label I'm going to say password. Now let me add td. So I'm going to say td over here, and I'm going to say input type is equals to password. Now save the file, and you have to pass the name as well. You pass. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. And if I refresh the page, and the moment I'm going to start typing over here, and I want you to guess what I'm typing. So basically, if you're using this input type is equals to password, so HTML gives you some features of this bullets. Whatever thing you're going to type, that won't be displayed on the browser, or that won't be shown to the user as well, right? So instead of password, instead of characters to be displayed, now you're able to get some bullets. Now let me have some input for the, let's take, I'm going to ask him for the date of birth. So I'm going to say tr, closing of this tr. In that I'm going to say th heading. So I'm going to say date of birth, close this th. In the td I'm going to give input type is equals to, I'm going to say date, and I'm going to say date dob itself, dob. Save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see we are now able to get a calendar over here, right? So you can select the years as well. So you can see 2020. You want to change it, you can go over here 2020 March, and sorry, if I go over here and if I select this to 2020 Feb, 2020 January, 2020 2019, and you can go over here, you can select the same, you can select it from this place as well, right? You can see the years are being displayed over here. Now I want to get the date of birth like 1978. and I want to get select it for, let's take July, and I'm going to select it for, let's take 16. So 16/07/1978, let's take this is my birth date, right? Now that is all okay. Now let me have one more input accepted from the user, or let's take I want to ask him for his favorite color. Now I have to add this new tr again. I'm going to say this th label, and I'm going to say this color. Suppose I want to ask him for the color, and simply I'm going to say td over here, and in that td I'm going to say input type is equals to color, and I'm going to say U color, name as U color over here, and simply save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. Now you can see we are able to get the color palette. So if I click on this place, you can see we are able to get the color palette. If I select this, you can see this is selected. You can say OK simply, OK, and this color is being selected, right? So you can select your choice color. I'm going to say okay. You can see we are getting a color, right? I hope you all guys are clear with this point. Let me show you one more input type, that is nothing but, let's take, I'm going to input a phone number, right? I want to have a phone number from the user. So I'm going to include a new tr over here, closing of this td and closing of this tr. Now I have to again define a new row in which I'm going to ask him for the phone number. So th, in that I'm going to say label, and I'm going to say phone number. Let me have this tt, closing of td, and I'm going to say input type is equals to you can say tell. So I'm going to ask him for the telephone number. So save the file, you have to add the name attribute as well. So please be habitual with by adding this name attribute. This will definitely help you while sending the data on the server. Let's example, I can give you in the servlet, you have to add this name attribute, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the name. So I'm going to say uph user phone number, save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see the phone number is being the phone number text box is being displayed over here. You can see some uh, characters are also being added, some numbers are also being added. So we are not able to restrict the user from by adding these characters. So definitely we'll do that, but before that let me show you how to restrict a user to add this, or let me accept only the numbers from the users. So I'll just go back into the code, and I'm going to say the new tr over here, and in that new tr I'm going to define this table heading. In that table heading I'm going to say label, and I'm going to say label, and I'm going to say enter the number. So I'm simply saying enter the number. So table data is nothing but your input type is equals to, I'm going to say number itself. So whenever you want to take and number from the user, and if I say L number, lucky number, so just close it, save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. Now you are able to get enter the number, and the moment I'm going to say A C D B E X Y Z, in that case I'm not able to get this characters as well. So simply you can add this numbers over here, right? So you can add from the keyboard as well, or you can select it from this place as well, right? I hope you are clear with this. Enter the number. And what if I want to accept a resume from the user, right? Sometimes we fill the form, we fills the form, in that we can upload the picture, we can upload the signs, we can upload the thumb, we can upload the photographs, right? So what I'm going to do is simply I'm going to add such input type, so that I can accept resume or my some file format. So I'm going to say new tr over here, and I'm going to say th. In that th I'm going to define this label tag over here. In the label tag I'm going to say enter, or let's say I'm simply going to say photograph. Now what I'm going to do is simply adding this tg, and I'm going to say input type is equals to, let's take, I'm going to say file over here, and you need to be u data. Save the file, and let me close this td first, save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see choose file is being displayed for you. No files chosen. So I'm going to say choose file over here, and let me select this, let's take result, say open, and you can see result.xlsx. The Excel sheet is being selected. Now you can see whatever thing you are going to select. It may be doc type, some file. Let's take it may be zip file, it may be RAR file. In that case, the respective extension and the name of the file is being displayed over here, right? I hope for this form input elements, I hope you're clear with this. Now let me add some submit button and a reset button as well. So what I'm going to do is inside this I'm going to add this new tr, and in this tr I'm going to say I have this first blank td over here, and let me have again a td. In that td I'm going to say input type is equals to, let's say, submit, and I'm going to say I'm going to remove this sub name because we don't need it now, and in that I'm going to close this td. Let me close this td as well. Now what I'm going to do is the way, save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page. Now you can see the submit button is being added, and now simply what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this submit button, reset button too. So I'm going to add input type is equals to, let's take a reset, save the file, and I'm going to remove this name because I don't want to have this name. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see the submit and reset buttons are being included. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add over here, let's take Vivek. I'm going to say email as sp@gmail.com. I'm going to say female over here, swimming I like, reading, let's check password going to be something, and date of birth, suppose I'm going to pass something like this. I'm going to pass color black itself. Phone number, let's take this one, 12345. Enter a number, I'm going to say 1, and I'm going to say reset the file, and you can see my all the fields are blank now. So basically when you want to remove the data, whatever fields you have filled, you want to make them empty, in that case you can use this reset button. Now, let me show you some more input type attributes, input tag attribute, what you can add. So simply very first attribute where we have added placeholder. So same, please copy and paste it for the all the fields. So your form is going to look very nice. So for now I'm going to skip the step. Now next thing is your autofocus attribute. Autofocus attribute is nothing but whenever I'm going to reload the page, in that case my automatically cursor will be standing inside this text box, and that text box is nothing but my input type is equals to text. So refresh the page and you can see my cursor is in this first text box. So autofocus, whatever attribute you have, that should be applied only once, right? So now next attribute is nothing but your required. If I'm going to say required and save the file, if I'm going to refresh the page and let me submit it, now you are going to get the error, please fill out this field, right? Suppose I'm going to add this name over here, and let's take, I'm going to say s.com. Let me submit the data, and you can see we are going to get the error that please include an @ in email address. s.com is missing with @. So basically your HTML5 is going to give you some inbuilt, or you can say some validation. So I'm going to say @. I'm going to say gm, gm. Let's submit it. Okay, so we're able to get that how we are able to send the data, right? So let me have some validation for the email again. So I'm going to say required unless and until user submit the data for the this email, uh, till the point don't submit the data, right? Now for the gender we have seen, for the hobbies we have seen. So let me add some one more attribute for the check boxes. Suppose you want to have the default checkboxes to be checked, so you can add the checked attribute into your input tag. So I'm going to say simply refresh the page, and you can see both these checkboxes are checked, right? Now what I'm going to do is simply I'm going to add this pattern attribute to this phone number, because I don't want user to enter these characters. I want user to enter only this what you can say a phone number. So I'm going to add over here a pattern attribute in which I'm going to use the regular expressions. Now regular expression topic is quite big, you can refer it from the net, and if you want it you can come back to me and definitely ask me. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to restrict a user that 0 to 9 numbers, I want at least 10 digits, and 9 1 should be in the starting. So I'm going to specify over here 9 1. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. If I'm going to add over here Vivek and I'm going to say sp@gmail.com and let me select mail over here and hobbies are okay, this password over here, and let me add the phone number itself. So I'm going to add over here 7450 or something else, and I'm going to say submit. You can see the please match the requested format, right? So now you are able to get the error that whatever phone number you have inserted, that is not correct. So simply I'm going to say 91 and I'm going to say 7020320555. This is nothing but four numbers. This is the 8, 9 and 10. Let me submit the data and still I'm going to get this please match the requested format. Okay, okay, for now just I'm going to remove this 91 and let me refresh the page once again. I'm going to have this 7020320555. Let me submit. Okay, I have to include the name as well. So Vivek, I'm going to say sp@gmail.com. You can see I'm getting this intelligent gmail.com. I'm going to save the I'm going to submit the file. You can see the data is being forwarded. So now it is working fine, right? We are not going to get any error. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to have an value, for example value to the your input text box. So suppose I want to have state of this email, I want to have this some example email. That's nothing but suppose if I say value is equals to I want to have some default value. In that case I'm going to say thinkquotient.com. Let's save the file, head back to the browser, and if I refresh the page, now you can see I'm default getting this value thinkquotient.com. Suppose if I want to have this email to be some edited, I want to change this email. So simply you can go over here and simply you can say sonal at the rate thinkquotient.com, and if I say submit, you can see okay we have to submit the name as well. So I'm going to add this sonal over here and you can see if I submit the data is being forwarded, but the default data is as it is thinkquotient.com, right? I hope you all are clear with this point. Let me show you one more thing. Let me have let's say I'm going to say, so enter the number. I'm going to say it should be always 5, so no one should edit it. So I want always it to be 5, no one should edit it. In that case what I can do is simply I'm going to add this value attribute first. So I'm going to say value and I'm setting it to 5. Save the file, refresh the page. You can see 5 is being displayed, right? Now I don't want it. Now it is editable, right? So you can change the value. Now what I want is no one should edit the same. So simply we have to add attribute disabled. Save the file, head back to the browser, and now you can see the field is disabled. Now I cannot edit the field as well, right? Now let's have a look on the form tag attributes. That is all for the input element attributes and the input element your uh, types. That's it. Rest of the things you can try it out by your own. So simply what I'm going to show you is form tag attributes. So your form tag attributes are having two attributes, that is nothing but your action. And what is the use of this action attribute? I'll let you know. But give me a second. So and the second attribute, that is nothing but your method. So what I'm going to do is simply you can add the method. So before adding this method, let me have a look on this action attribute. What is the use of this action attribute is whatever data the user is going to fill, that you want to submit to some server, right? So you want to send it to server for any URL you want to submit. It may be some PHP URL, it may be some servlet URL. So in that case you have to add some path where you want to submit the data. Right now we don't have any such path, so I'm going to add over here hash and method, which method you want to write. So mostly we use two methods over here, get and post. Get and post, these two methods are used to send the data. Both the use of these methods of send the data. So default HTTP method when submitting the form data is nothing but get, right? So default, even if you don't specify method over here, we are having get method in the background, running in the background. So how I came to know that get method is running in the background, that definitely I'll show you. But before that, let's have a look on what is this get. So simply it appends form data into the URL in name value pair. So if I go back over here and if I show you my URL, you can see form.html is my HTML page name, and you can see you name it's Sonal, you email is sonal at the thinkquotient.com, and hobbies swim is equals to on, read is equals to on, you pass, and date of birth is equals to something. So I haven't filled the data over here, that's why it is sending as a blank data. But you can see you name is equals to Sonal and you email is equals to Sonal. This whole URL will be forwarded to some server, but for now let's keep on I what is this you name and what is this you email, right? So basically if I go back into my code and you can see you name and you email is being referred by the browser for referring the value of this text box. This is not for our purpose, this is not for our use. I hope you are clear with the same, right? Whenever you want to send data and data to the server, in that case you have to use either a get method, either a post method. So already the get method is running in the background, but if you want to specify get method, you can specify in this way. Let me refresh the page once again. I'm going to say remove all this data and I'm going to say refresh the page. This is my default page and I'm going to pass over here tqpp, and let me add over here, let's take tqpp@gmail.com, and you can say it's a mail. Let's take mail, and I'm going to say swimming and reading both we like. Password is 123, let's take, and date I'm going to say, let's take this one 16/4/2020, and I'm going to select the color as black, phone number to be 7020 something like this, and I won't be selecting the file right now. Let's submit the data, and you can see my URL is being updated. You name tqpp, you email tqpp@gmail.com, gender is on, swim is on, and read is on, you pass is 123, date of birth is 2024 and 16, right? So you can see we are able to pass the data as well, and we are able to read the data in the URL as well. So basically when to go with the get method and when to go with the post method. Let me show you the example for post. Simply I'm going to replace this with post, save the file, and I'm going to remove all these things from the URL. I'm going to remove this and let's hit enter. Now I'm going to pass some data over here. So I'm going to pass V. I'm going to say VP at thinkquotient.com. You can say it's a mail, and swimming and reading password is 321, and I'm going to say select date of birth, that is nothing but 30 April, and color is same, phone number if I select the same, and I'm going to submit the data, and you can see the data is being submitted, but my URL is not changed now. So basically when to go for the get and when to go for the post is whenever you have some sensitive data, in that case please don't go with the post method, please go with the post method, right? So sensitive data whenever you have, in that case go with the post method. And let's talk about some get method. Appends form data into the URL in the name and value pair. The length of the URL is limited. So basically if you're dealing with the get method, so you are limited to add the data, so you can have only 2048 characters in the URL. You cannot exceed that characters. If you have only 2048 characters, it is okay. Never use get to send sensitive data. Yes, we have just now talked. Useful to form submissions where a user wants to bookmark the results. So basically whenever you want to save the your his browser history, whenever you want to have bookmarks, your URL should be bookmarked. In that case you should go with your get methods. Get is better for non-secure data like query string in Google, right? So we are writing some query inside the Google URL. So when to go for the post is always use post if the data form data contains sensitive or personal information. The post method does not display the form data in the page address field. So basically when you were asking the user for the ATM pin, passwords, ATM card numbers, account numbers, in that case you should use the post method instead of get method. Post has no size limitations the way we have in the gate, that 2048 characters only we can send. Post has no size limitation and can be used to send large amount of data. Form submission of post cannot be bookmarked, so basically the browser history and the URL won't be bookmarked with your post method. Now I hope you all guys are clear with this get and post and action in the form at form tag. I hope you are clear with the form concept itself. Now what we are going to do is we will be having some end product. Whatever concepts we have learned till now, we will be creating some website depending on the same. I'm going to create control n over here and we'll create some website, mini application type of website. So I'm going to create this is nothing but my browser, and let's take this is nothing but my let's take navigation bar. So this is my navigation bar and this is nothing but my, let's take we can say a content display frame. So you can say this is nothing but my content display frame. So what I'm going to do over here is simply I'm going to have this let's take I'm going to have this brush first. So I'm going to define this web page, and that web page is going to have a home tab over here. So I'm going to say home. I'm going to say about us, home tab over here. I'm going to say about us over here and contact us over here. And simply I'm going to have over here a login page. So let me show you the example for the same, how you can create the same example using this HTML only. And definitely we will be adding some colors, some fonting, some styling in the upcoming videos. Now let me show you how to make this a web page. So basically I'm going to get back into the code and let me create new file, save the file something called as in my website page.html. Now what I'm going to do is very first let me have this boilerplate code, and in that I'm going to include this home tab. So I'm going to say I have got this UL tag, or instead of UL tag we'll start with only a span tag. So we have got this span tag and span in I have got this home tab. I want this home to be clickable. So we haven't seen the concept of making the links into your web page. So how you can make some links into your web page by simply adding this anchor tag over here and close this anchor tag. So whenever you want something to be clickable, I'm going to just add this href over here and let me show you the output for the same. If I say hash, save the file and head back to the browser. Before moving back, I have to say open in browser over here. So now you can see the home, whatever text I have written, that is in the blue color. And if I click on this page, you can see there is some page has to be open, but we haven't specified. But we can see some text is in the purple color now. So already we have visited to this website or this text, so that now I'm able to get this what you can say text as in purple color. So what I'm going to do is simply clicking on it. You can see this is my active tab, and you can, if you leave it, you can see some home in the purple color. So let's go back into the code. Let's add some home.html page. Control N, save the file, say home.html, and I'm going to get the boilerplate code first, and I'm going to say h1 and I'm going to say simple welcome to html. Save the file and let's include on the click of the home page. So I'm going to say home.html page I want to open. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see the moment I'm going to click on this page or click on this anchor tag, or you can say clickable text, we are able to get this welcome to html page, right? So let's go back to the page again. So the same we are going to add about us and contact us. Let me copy and paste the same code, and simply I'm going to say about us, and I'm going to add over here contact us. Now save the file. Before moving to the browser again, I'll just create two files over here. Save the file with, say, let's take about us.html, and I'm going to have this HTML boilerplate code first. I'm going to say welcome to HTML, or instead of HTML I'm going to say welcome to about us and close this h1. Save the file. For the same I'm going to say for contact us. Save the file first. I'm going to say contact us.html and get the boilerplate code first. I'm going to include this h1 tag and simply I'm going to say welcome to contact us. Close this h1, save the file. Let's include this file into your web pages. So simply I'm going to say about us.html, about us.html file, and for the contact us you want to include this contact us.html file. So contact c is in the small case. So let's save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. And now you are able to get this home page, home tab, about us tab and contact us tab. If I'm click on this, you can see welcome to about us is being displayed, and contact us, the contact us page is being displayed, but it is not being displayed. The spelling is went wrong, contact us. I'm going to say refresh the page, save the file and refresh the page once. Now, if I click on this contact us, you can see we are able to get this contact us page. Welcome to contact us. Now, what is happening in this scenario is we are opening the tab every time inside the new page. So again I have to say back for my navigation bar. If I click on this about us, again I have to get click on this back button to get this navigation tab. So instead of that, what if I'm able to get the content below the same? Suppose if I click on the home, I should be able to get the content in the same area over here. If I click on the about us, I should get the content over here, and contact us, I should get content over here. So what I'm going to do is simply I'm going to add, we know the one concept we have learned, that is nothing but iframe, and you have to specify when you want to open a web page within a web page. In that case you have to use iframe. So I'm going to use this iframe, and the src I'm going to keep it blank because I don't want to display anything in the initial level. I am going to save the name. I'm going to give the name as name, and I'm going to say address over here. Right, name is equals to address. So in this case, what I want is, now we are able to get the iframe. Right, now what I'm going to do is simply going to add height and width. So I'm going to say height. I'm going to say, let's take 500 px, and width I'm going to say 100% because this will give me a responsive look. And I'm going to remove this hash itself, save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and now we are able to get this iframe. Right, so whatever thing we are going to click on home, that has to be open in that iframe. So to have that, what I'm going to do is simply uh, going to add the target attribute over here. So target, I'm going to say target is equals to, I have to give a path, so I'm going to say address. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. Once, if I'm going to click on the home, you can see welcome to html page is being displayed over here. And if I click on the about us, to let's add the code for the about us again. I'm going to say target is equals to, simply I'm going to say about us. Sorry, we don't have to add about us, we have to say address. And if someone is going to click on contact us, in that case also I have to open this address. Save the file and head back to the browser again, refresh the page once. If I click on home, you can see welcome to home is being displayed. Click on about us, welcome to about us is page is being displayed. If I click on contact us, welcome to contact us page is being displayed. Right, I hope you all guys are clear with this. Now let me add this form tag. Let me close this, don't save. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the fourth one, that is nothing but I'll just copy it, control c, control v over here. Now I'm going to add over here a registration form, or register. Here I'm going to say register instead of login. I'm going to say register, and for register I'm going to say form.html, the form just now we have created. And the target, again the address. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page once. You can see the register tab is available over here. If I click on this register, you can see we are able to get our form into the iframe. Right, now if I click on this home, welcome to html is being displayed, about us is being displayed, contact us, welcome to contact us page is being displayed, register, the form is being displayed. Now you can create your own basic web page or website using this HTML only. No colors are being added. So one more thing I can do is I can show you some heading tags, or I can say a headline sort of tag. Generally we see on the news channels, that is nothing but some headlines run from the left to right, right? So in that case, if you want to have that one also, so we have to add one tag, that is nothing but marquee tag. Some people call it as marquee, some call it as merque. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply add over here a marquee tag. So you have to say marquee and close this marquee as well, and I'm going to say that welcome to think quotient. Save the file and refresh the page, and you can see welcome to think quotient as in the marquee tag running from the right to left is being displayed. If I click on home and if I click on register, everything is working fine, right? So this is what the expected end product from your side. You have to build your own website. This is nothing but your very basic website in which I haven't added some contents. You can add images, you can add videos, you can add audios. So simply let me go over here and change this about us. Instead I'll change this contact us to multimedia, and let me add the multimedia page also. I'm going to say multimedia. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and if I click on the multimedia, you can see some images being displayed over here, some audio tag is being added over here, and some video is being added over here into your web page. So
Today,
basically this is
start
the way
working.
how you can build your web pages, build your website, build your own website. Definitely you can increase this font size as well. Definitely you can add some colors, background colors, some good images, some attractive web pages. Now let's have a look CSS in the next session. For now, I'll just be taking your leave. Thank you so much and keep practicing on the same. Let's see you in the next session.